Hey, what's up? Nope. That's a big nope. Hey, what's up? It's me, Scotty Young. Why do I say it's me than my name? You're already at my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you my process on a Batman commission. Yep. Since I'm going to be talking about the process, I'm just going to kind of jump in every now and then and talk about bits and pieces of the process. In between that, enjoy some music. Let's go watch me draw. All right, I did this drawing digitally. I didn't know I was going to make a video of it, so I didn't record the digital drawing. But I did this drawing digitally in Sketchbook Pro. No, I lied. I did this on my iPad in Clip Studio. And then printed this out on 11x17 sheet of paper. This is a very old process. I haven't done this process in years. The light boxing process, where I take a little light box and trace through it. Usually now I just draw everything digitally, print it out really light blue, and ink over top of that and get rid of the lines. I don't really care if you can see those blue lines. I actually think it's kind of fun to show that. But these are commissions, and I don't take commissions that often, and some of these have washes or paintings on them, watercolors. So I don't want that blue line to be underneath there. I want to be able to erase the pencil lines. So I am doing a very old school technique that I haven't done in probably 10 or more years, which is print a sketch out, tape it to some Bristol board, put it on a light box, and clean it up, and then get to inking. So I'm showing you guys a really old school drawing technique that I used to use, which I'm sure a lot of people still use. I'm not saying the technique's old school, it's just really old school to me. What I love about today's technology, though, in the years since I've done this, is light boxes are amazing now. You can see this here. It's just this little thin, pad, like an iPad almost, thinner than that, with 3 different light settings, rulers and everything set up on it. So it's really fantastic. Light boxes back when I first started were big, bulky, hot boxes, that you had to pull out and store somewhere, and this thing just fits on my bookshelf with all the rest of my paper. So we're going to clean this up a little bit, and we will get to the inking stage. You can see here that really what I like to do is take this chance to just kind of pick and choose the lines. You could see underneath that it was really sketchy. So I tried to make some choices here that, but still not get too crazy tight. Well, that's the thing. Light boxing kind of for me went away because it put me in, when I started to ink, the inking process became a little less fun because I had already made all the decisions in the drawing. And so nowadays, mostly I make all the decisions in the inking stage. But again, these are for commissions, and I want these pieces to be special for the people who purchase them. So I am going to do a little different, which it's fun. It's fun to revisit old techniques, and now that I've learned a little bit, I was not near as good. I was much worse 10, 11, 12 years ago when I used the light box. So the process is definitely faster this time around. So we have it all light boxed out. You can see that it's all kind of clean and kind of looks weird, right? There's no line weights or anything. It's just kind of like a little stencil of the sketch that I had before. I take my Kuretake brush pen. This is the number 13, I think. I've inked just about every comic book that you've seen from me in the last 12 years with this thing. I started using this on, oh God, maybe even longer. I started using this, I think, on New X-Men. No, maybe Oz. Maybe it was Oz in 2007, 8 when I started that project. Anyway, filled up with Speedball Super Black. It's kind of my favorite ink. We talked about this in other videos where, it's still a little opaque and or a little translucent. You can kind of see through it a little bit. I like that. I like the texture it kind of gives. And I can control it. It's not so wet that it just, it bleeds out of the brush. These synthetic brush tips, or not brush tip, the synthetic bristles can let ink run a little faster if it's wetter. I'm sure there's better technical terms. Inkers out there listening to me are probably like, oh my God, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. And guess what? You're right. I do not know what I'm talking about. I just put ink in pens and I'm like, feels good, does not feel good. That's the extent of my technical knowledge. So inking this with a brush, just jumping in and kind of going for it, picking that, looking at those lines. Inking like this over the light box is much easier. All my decisions are pretty much made for me, which kind of makes me weirdly nervous because I'm feeling like, oh, I made the choice. Now I can see when I mess up. Before, when I'm inking over a sketch, it's a lot less apparent when I mess up. So I don't think I mess up too often here, but we'll see. This is going to be one of those things I was talking about decisions. I didn't really have a plan for how I was going to approach the spotted blacks. I always decide on the fly, am I going to do the floating kind of black area in the middle with the shines on each side? Here I wanted to go, I love the brushing edges where it's not smooth. So that's where I started with here, which I like. But as I was inking it, you could tell that I'm not loving it. I think that I was happy with little old Batman, like his little shaped head and his little ears, and I felt like I couldn't resist giving him a little bit more ink up there. And then as soon as I did that didn't look right. And of course I decided, okay, let me, and then I was like, nope. I always thought from the beginning I would fill it all in and let the contour. The thing with Batman is I love the outer contour just being the big black shape. I was trying something different. Didn't work out for me. So I filled it in and went mostly big black area. But I did like to leave a little bit, you'll notice when I ink big black areas, a lot of times I don't fill them in completely solid. I like there being little pockets of white. To me, it helps add motion and a little bit of energy. Just keeps the eye kind of bouncing around the image a little bit, not just stationary on a big island of black. Breaks that big island up. So, I tried something, did not enjoy it. Made a choice on the fly with ink. No turning back there. This is one of those parts I really like inking, going in and inking these bats. They're not really bats, right? They're just weird jaggedy shapes that kind of resemble bats. I like this part because it's just free. You just kind of make up shapes. Like you can see a few of the bats I get at these first ones, I'm a little bit more careful. And then by the end, I'm just slopping ink around. These are totally Greg Capullo bats. Greg Capullo is one of my favorite artists when I was young. Still is. He's a genius. But I read, Spawn for a million years, and Greg took that book over pretty early on in the run of it, and man, I learned so much from that guy. I've probably swiped more things from more techniques on how to draw things from him than just about anybody. Though I guess I don't talk about it much, but I don't think about it much. I think a lot of what he did just kind of sat inside my brain, and just kind of cooked itself in, with some of the stuff I did. But anyway, these are probably totally. And again, I would probably go look at Greg Capullo bats, and obviously mine look probably nothing like his because his are way better than mine. But I just remember always kind of looking at his bats flying around and feeling like, oh man, it's such a good representation of that. It's representational and not realistic, So anyway, yep, here are my Greg bats. This next part, you're going to notice I jump in and already have a little the ink wash part. You notice I kind of jump in and already have it a little bit started, and that's because I was like, maybe I won't film the beginning. If this doesn't look right, I might have to redo this whole thing. So I just kind of quickly did a little swatch of it, and was like, okay, it works. I can turn the camera back on. So I decided kind of in the middle of this, as I was inking it, that I wanted to give it a wash. Well, here's the thing. Really, I was like, usually I would just put tons of black on this cover and then do some night stars and stuff. But I already done the bats, and so I couldn't really go in and add a lot of black, but I wanted there to be an atmosphere to this. I wanted there to be a sky. And I love when I do Spider-Man and Batman drawings, and I love adding stars to the sky in whiteout. So to get that, I decided to go for an ink wash. For those of you who don't know, an ink wash is basically taking black ink, adding water, and kind of like watercoloring. So you can get different values. You can get, if I use more water, it becomes grayer and grayer and grayer. If I use less water, it's a little bit darker. The thing that I like about it when approaching pieces like this is I've got a lot of my hard kind of cartoony lines, and then you give the sky a nice, just atmospheric, kind of cloudy texture that helps just offset and contrast the nice big bold lines. So yeah, I took some Speedball Super Black, put it in a little a little pallet, and filled it with some water, and then I had a couple going at the same time, so one was a little less ink, one was a little more, and just got in there and started inking, or ink washing. I'm going to grab my Presto whiteout pen. These are great. Really, really white. And I get in there and do my favorite thing. This is pretty much why I did the ink wash, because I like doing these stars. I like getting in and making these cartoony, snow-like stars. I don't know. It just helps pop it out a little bit. And yeah. So that's all. That's really me just sitting around. I'm going to sit there and dot some stars for a little bit until it's done. And that's pretty much it. I mean, that's a very good example of my commission process. Maybe I'll do another one, and I'll film. I'll screen capture or screen record my Cintiq, so you can even see that side of it. But I'm going to do a lot more of these videos where I cover the different processes I use. And mostly it's going to be, I use the same process, but this was kind of fun to go back old school and do some more. But I've got a couple other cool commissions. Not a couple, I got a lot of commissions that I got to do. So I'm going to try to make the best of my time on doing them and give you guys some process videos with that. Hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you next time.